Hello and welcome to Let's Be Real About It, where we are real about real life issues. I am your host, Mildred Towns. Our disclaimer is that this is a no holds barred zone. Therefore, some of the contents of the show may be offensive to some, but that is not the intent of the show. But before I introduce my guest tonight, I want to introduce my book to you tonight. It's my autobiography. If you ever wanted to know the truth about Mildred, make sure that you order my book. It tells my truth. Uh, and another book that I have is a brochure. It's a cry from the wound, and this is for anyone who's contemplating on having an abortion. You in between the yes, should I want to, or no, I don't want to. Please make sure that you order my brochure. You can send an email to iheartministries@gmail.com. And I also want to recognize our sponsor tonight. I want to give special thanks to our anonymous sponsor for the show. Praise and God for that person. And also join us on the prayer line every morning. We commission to pray, and we commission to pray without ceasing. Every morning at 7:30 a.m., you can give us a call. Tune in. It's 605 313 5885, and the code to get in is 881878 pound. So that's 605 313 5885, and the code is 881878 pound. And this is every morning, Sunday through Sunday, every morning, every day, holidays, whenever you got prayer, you need prayer for your sick, whatever you may need prayer for, please, please, please tune in every morning. Uh, there's going to be a new Alcoholic Anonymous support group that's going to be starting on March the 17th at 7 p.m. And it's going to be a Zoom meeting with John Bernard Hurd. You may recognize him. We did the 12 steps. For some months, we did the 12 steps. So Zoom in, go to Zoom. Meeting ID number is 850-4630-9135, and the password is 00393. That's 850, the meeting ID 4630-9135, and the password is 00393. And I also want to recognize J&K Style Grill.
What up, y'all? It's your boy back on stage. We here at J&K Style and Grill with my main man.
J&K Style Grill, home of the original waffle burger, stuffed wings, and Philly steak egg roll.
The food was amazing, man. I'm talking about collard green stuffed chicken, mac and cheese stuffed chicken, waffle burger with the special sauce.
With the special sauce.
Come on, man. What are you doing if you ain't eating here? You're wasting your life.
Pull up.
J&K Style Grill, you can copy the style.
But never the spec.
We got it.
We got it.
So whenever you're in the Virginia Beach area, please, please, please come by J&K Style Grill, 2 locations in the Virginia Beach area. And if Let's Be Real About It been a blessing to you, please consider sending a love donation to $ Mildred Towns. Well, I'm excited about my guest tonight, Miss Tonya Small. Hey, lady.
Hi.
Welcome to Let's Be Real About It. How are you?
I'm fine, and yourself? I'm glad to be here.
Girl, we're glad that you are here. I want to get you to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Tonya Small. I am an evangelist. I also have my own prayer ministry as well, and which I guess I could talk about later. But that's who I am, and I'm here to be real about it.
Amen, girl. That's what it's all about. Being real about real life issues. So we're gonna go ahead. We're just gonna start with your home life. You grew up in a single home. You have 6 siblings, but you grew up with 5. So what was that like, growing up with the 5 siblings?
It was okay. I mean, first of all, I was the only child for like 8.5 years, and then my mom decided to started having more kids, and I have to say I was a little jealous um, about that. I was kind of hurt. Um, I wanted to be the only child because I wanted all of her attention. But then she started giving attention to the rest of my siblings. So I adjusted. It wasn't easy, but
Mhm.
I adjusted. I love them to death. Get me wrong.
Now, a lot of kids, if they've been the only kid for a while, and then the mom start having other kids, now sometimes their oldest child, or get rebellious. Did you get a little rebellious?
I did. I did. I would do things to try to get my mom's attention. So yes, I did. I was a little rebellious.
Now, your mom suffered domestic abuse. Talk about this and how it affected you.
Yes, she did. Even before she had my siblings, with my dad, she he abused her. I don't remember because I was younger, but when she got in her next relationship, that was also abusive, which I do remember because I sing a lot of it, and I tried to protect my mom during those abusive times that she had, which caused a lot of trauma, not just on her, but on my life and two of my siblings' lives as well.
So when you say trauma, give an example of maybe if you feel free to talk about it.
Sure.
Okay.
So, because she was being abused, I was always scared. I was very nervous. I really wouldn't talk around people. I would bite my nails down to the nub. Um, So I would like go somewhere and hide when she did get abused and just cry. And I would be praying and ask the Lord, to help us. And at that time, like I really didn't know that much about prayer, although my grandma took me to church. But
Hmm.
I always heard my family members praying, my grandma, my great grandma praying. So I would, just start praying, asking the Lord to help my mom. But it took her at least a decade before she got out of that type of relationship.
Good, good, good. She got out because some women continue to stay in abusive relationships,
They do.
and they can't seem to maneuver their way out of it. I don't know if it's this deep, deep love that connects them, or in some cases they just feel as though, where am I going to go? What am I going to do?
But see, this is the thing. They stayed with us. My mom always had a place. The
Hmm.
men stayed with us. So, and I think for her, it was not only love, but it was fear.
Fear.
She was fearful to end that relationship.
Mm. But I'm glad she ended it
I did too.
as she left. So at the age of 16, girl, you had sex for the first time and got pregnant.
Yes.
The very first time. So talk about what that was like for you, and also talk about the strictness of your mother.
Oh wow. When I found out I was pregnant, I was like, no, this can't be. This not true. I'm not having sex. I ain't had no sex to be pregnant. And when me and my mom was in the hospital because I was sick, she said, you know, they always think young black women, girls, are pregnant and stuff. And when that test came back and said I was pregnant, I said, no, it can't be. And I seen the disappointment in my mom's face. And that really hurt me because the whole time growing up, she would instill in me not to be like her. Do not have a child at a young age. Go and pursue your education, live your life. Like she always would say that, even with relationships, don't be like me. Don't allow anybody to abuse you. So When I got the results that I was pregnant, I was really down because I seen the hurt in her face, and I guess she figured I was going to go down the same road that she did, which was not finish school,
Mhm.
don't have any education, have to live on government assistance and things like that. So she did not want that for me.
Because I got pregnant when I was 14, and in the emergency room, God sick, wasn't feeling well. So Greg and myself and my mom went, and when the doctor came in the room and said, "You're pregnant," I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he said, "Are you going to tell your mom, or you want me to tell her?" I said, "I'll tell her." He said, "No, no, I'm not going to let you tell. I'm going to tell her myself."
Hmm.
Because I guess he was like, "You're 14, here you are, and you're pregnant at 14." And that was when I was pregnant with Kelvin. So I
Oh,
had him at 15. When I was 15, and my mother was very disappointed. She was so disappointed. She was so hurt and so disappointed. She cried,
yeah,
because I'm her baby.
right.
And what do I know at 15 being a mother? Nothing.
Right. And then having that burden, like your mom have to take on that burden, not only just taking care of you, but also now have to try to support your
A
child.
child. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. That's how it was with my mom. Like my mom didn't work for a very long time. And it seemed like as soon as she got a job at Duke working in environmental service, I'm pregnant. This is her first job, since having it was three of us at that time. And so it was very disappointing, but she was my support system through it all.
Mm-hmm.
She was right there. She was my support system.
Same with my mom. But you were a high school dropout. Talk about the things people said to you and the accomplishment you achieved as a result of the negative things they said to you.
Well, people started saying negative things to me when I was maybe 9, 10 years old. Um, and it just came from hearing people say negative things about my mom, how she would never be nothing, how I would never amount to anything or be nothing, and I'm gonna be just like her, and little things I would hear different people say. Um, and so yes, I was a high school dropout because I had my child at 16, and along with that came different illnesses with him, and just trying to go to school and take care of him. Like, it was just impossible for me to do it, only because of as many times as I had to take him to the doctor because he was kind of sick.
But then you went back to school.
I did. I went back to school. So no, like I tried plenty of times, going to Durham Technical Community College even after I had my son and stuff, but I would never graduate or always quit. And then I think I probably was maybe about 34, 35. I went back and got my high school diploma. From there, a couple of years later, I went back to Durham Tech and got a associate degree in early childhood and education. I got a bachelor's degree after that in early care and education. And then I just received my master's in administration, leadership, and management in early childhood. So it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I
All
want
the
to thank
things.
all them no sayers.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
I had to show them. They was my motivation to show them that I can be something no matter what you say. And I don't know, it's just something about somebody telling me what I can't do that I'm gonna prove to them that I can do it.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a great accomplishment. Now you got your master's degree when they were saying you weren't gonna have anything.
When I
You
Yeah,
know, you wasn't gonna accomplish anything. So you accomplished a lot.
a lot.
Not a lot of people
Although
have
it
a
was
master's.
later,
Hmm.
although it was later in life, I still accomplished a lot from maybe 34 and I'm 46 now. So yes.
Yes. So you go from going back to school, getting your education. You meet this man at the age of 18. You were friend with him for 3 years. You guys dated for approximately 8 years, living together before getting married. But you put him out because you no longer wanted to shack. Talk about this and how it affected you.
Yeah, I met him. Matter of fact, I met him when I was after I had my son. Well, I think I might have been pregnant with my son when I met him, as a matter of fact. So I think I probably met him when I was like 16, 17 years old. But yeah, we end up dating, having kids out of wedlock. Um, so I started getting into a church like 1998 after a couple of my family members had been killed in High Point, North Carolina. And so I started going to church. And in that time going to church, I started becoming, close to the Lord. Just hearing the word of God being preached about, how God wants us to live our life and not shack up and be married and things like that. So over the time, those things was I was getting fed those things in my spirit. So eventually, after we had our kids or whatever, um, we would talk about marriage, but it would never come. So I just got fed up. I was just like, "You're not gonna marry me. That's it. You gotta go." Of course, he fought me on it. He didn't want to leave, but I gave him a 30-day notice, took a picture of it, and everything was like, "If you don't leave, I'm taking you to court because I'm not living like this anymore. I'm gonna live my life for the Lord." Because I had already told God, when I had my third child, which was I had him early. I had him at 26 weeks. And I told him, if you save his life, I will live for you. And I meant that. Although I had another child after him, I still said, if you save his life, I will live for you. And so that's why I put him out, because I was just like, this is enough.
Girl, you gave him a 30-day written
I
notice.
did. I sure did.
You gave him a 30-day
I,
written notice.
yes,
You told him
yes.
about the 30 days you out of here. You got 30
30
days
days. Yeah, like you have to give notice that you're going to be out of your place. Yes, I gave him a 30-day written notice that he had to go.
So when he goes to your pastor and he talks to him to see if he could get you back. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I did not know. So after I put him out, we wasn't together for like a year. I kind of started focus on me getting more in church. And I didn't realize that he was going meeting with my pastors and talking to them about marriage and trying to get me back and stuff. And um, once I moved from Raleigh to back to Durham, it's when he proposed to me.
So you guys eventually get married.
Yes.
And so what was the marriage like in the beginning? Because there had to be love there, and he had to be telling you good things, in
Yes. And
order. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, he was my first love, although I had already had a child before him. He was my first love because when I had my son, I wasn't in love. That was just my first time having sex, and we wasn't even together. So he was my first love. And so yeah, like any other marriages, we had our ups and downs, we had our issues, but in the beginning it was good, like all marriages, that honeymoon phase. So although we was married, we had already know what it was like to live with each other, although we had separated for a year. So we had our ups and downs, but we managed.
So with him understanding that you want to live for the Lord, and you don't want to shack, you want to live for the Lord. Uh, did In order for you to marry him, and that was your desire, at any time did he convert or give his life to Christ and begin to live? For God?
Well, he had already knew who God was. He grew up Catholic, but he he knew who God was through me. He knew how to pray as well. So I think those are some of the things that I kind of taught him just from me being in church when he wasn't even in church. But when we got married, he started coming to church. He would come to church and hear the word, and we would have, like every night we would pray with our kids and things. And this happened for maybe about a year and a half of us being married. And then things started changing.
Like when you say change, it started changing for the better, or it started changing for the worse?
I wouldn't even say for the worst. He just really started backing off from going to church. Where he was coming to church every Sunday, and we was doing it as a family. It got to the point where it was just me and the kids going to church.
So
So
what was his excuse in not going?
he didn't even have an excuse. He would just say he won't go
And just when
and just lay in the bed and watch TV or whatever. Yeah, that's what he would do. I mean, he was a great provider, excellent provider. I think I don't take anything from what he has done for me and our kids, because he helped me come, out of some generational curses. I'm the first one out of three generations to be married. I'm the first one to own a home out of three generations.
oh wow.
So it was some good things. And just because he stopped coming to church, I still made sure he got the word. I would come home, I would tell him about, what the pastor said and things, and we would still pray from time to time, but even that started slacking off. So yeah.
Um now and you hit on this. You hit on this. You got pregnant with your son at 26. Well, you got pregnant with your son at 26 weeks. You gave birth, and he died twice.
Yes, he
I
did.
know you say uh, that he was sickly, but talk about this and the emotional state that put you in. And were you married at this time?
No, we were not married. No, we were not married. And um I was I was stressed during my pregnancy. Um so I had him early, and I think I was stressed because of just my own health issues I was dealing with at the time. I was disabled at at the time. They didn't even know what fibromyalgia was, but that was something that I have and finally got diagnosed with. So I had him early at 26 weeks. Uh, he died twice, and
Mm.
it was very traumatic. It was I went into a state of depression. Um, I had other kids at home that I had to try to take care of and try to be at the hospital every day for him. And that became overwhelming. And it kind of put me in a state of depression, although I was still going to church, although I was still hearing the word, although I had support from my family, from my church family, and my friends, and from my kids' father. But it was a lot to see him go through all of that.
Girl, I could only imagine because I know what it was like um, when my son at 17, was in IC, well, neurointensive care,
Hmm.
and dying. So it doesn't matter if what, 26 weeks or 17. It's the
Right.
same, it's that same feeling.
It
It's
is.
that same feeling. So talk about in about 3 minutes, and then and next week we're gonna finish this up. uh you said that your husband wasn't the man that you thought he was. He was living a double life after being together for 20 years. So just talk briefly on that because we're gonna go into this next week.
Okay. So I had to put it all together, which we'll talk about next week. How I realized he was living a double life. But you know how when you so in love, you have blinders on.
Yes.
And although there are signs there, you don't really pay them any attention.
Let me ask you this: how important is it? Uh, and so we can finish that up next week. How important was something you just said? How important is it? Uh, Now you and him was married 20 years or in a relationship married 20 years.
We
How
was
important
we was
is it,
together for 21 years. We was married for almost 11 years.
okay, for us as women to watch those signs? How important, just talk to some woman about that right now that may be uh saying in her mind, I do believe he cheated, but I'm not for sure.
I would say trust your instinct. I mean, because we have that for a reason. God gave that to us for a reason to be able to discern things. And we may not want to believe it or see it, but when we know it's something there, it's something there, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And then once things start falling apart, is when you start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together.
And then you go, I understand that. That's why this.
Yes,
Oh, that's why that. Now
yes,
I understand. Now I see.
yes,
Okay, okay. Yep, that's how you be. It's so important. So
it
important
is. It
to
is.
watch them signs and as Juanita would say, watch those red flags. Watch those
Yes,
red
yes.
flags. That's going up. Watch those flags. Well, Tanya, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell people how they can contact you.
Oh, well, if they want, they can contact me at www.womenentpm.org. That is Women Empowerment Through Prayer Ministries. That is my ministry that God gave me while I was going through what we're going to talk about on next week. That is the ministry that He has given to me to help other women that are dealing with so many things.
Yes, girl. I can't wait to hear about it. I can't wait to hear about it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I Heard Ministries, Saturday 4.22 guest towns. Special thanks to our viewers who watch the show nationally and internationally. And until next week, Mildred Towns, and y'all got to come back for part two of her
Part
story
two is going
because
to be hot.
y'all got to hear this double life. Y'all got
Yes.
to hear it. So until next week, I'm Mildred Towns. May God bless you and keep you, and thank you for watching.
Amen.